Hi everyone, welcome back to Grace and Glory Homeschooling. My name is Michaela. I am a homeschool mom of now 13 years. It is summertime and I'm transitioning into my 13th year. And today I am going to share a comparison video for spelling to compare spelling power with spelling wisdom. Spelling Power by Adams Gordons is recommended by My Father's World. You can find it at rainbowresource.com, christianbook.com. It has been around a long time. It's a pretty popular homeschool program. Spelling Wisdom is offered by simplycharlottemason.com, and it is a favorite with those homeschoolers that use the Charlotte Mason method. I'm going to go into an in-depth detail about each one, what they both have in common, and what they are both a little bit different in their ways, and how you can use them. First, I'm going to start out with Spelling Power. You can see it's a pretty thick book, and it is made for elementary school to high school. It is recommended for age 8 and up. I actually started it with my 7-year-old, and he didn't have any problems with it. There are so many things that you can get that go along with this program. There's a DVD, there's like a printables CD, there's a pack of cards, there's journals. I don't have all that stuff. I've done it really simple, and I have just been using this as the book. So you don't have to get all that stuff if you want to. I have kind of just developed the theory or philosophy that spelling can be as simple or as complicated as you want it to be. I do lead a homeschool group, and I have had some moms call me crying because they're like, my child can't spell and I can't figure out, and we're butting heads and we're having meltdowns over spelling, and sometimes it's just being made way too complicated. And so sometimes you just need to simplify. But I have tried sequential spelling, Abeka, Bob Jones, spelling UC, Queen spelling. There's so many different kinds out there, and I have tried a lot of them. But I really do love Spelling Power. And some of the things it's pretty short. You only need about 10 to 15 minutes a day. And it covers 5,000 of the most commonly misspelled words. And the key to this program, there's a lot of myths. A lot of moms are kind of like afraid of it because there's myths that it's very teacher intensive or that it takes a long time to figure out. Honestly, I sat down for probably 45 minutes one summer a while back, and I read through it. And after that, like 45 minutes, an hour, I was good. And I don't feel like it's complicated at all. But again, it can be as simple or as complicated as you want to make it. So don't be afraid that there's these myths. The key to it is placement testing. So there are tests in here, and there's different levels. Let me see if I can show one here. You can see like this is level H, and there's different groups of words. So you need to test. There's a whole bunch of placement tests in the beginning, and once you find what level your child's at, that's where you're going to start. So that's really key, is to make sure that you place your child in the right level. It was interesting because my middle son, so I've already graduated one, I have a middle one, and when he started high school last year, I wanted to do a review of spelling. So last year was his 9th grade year, and I really wanted to make sure that he was on track and that he was doing well in spelling. So I had him take the Spelling Power Placement Test, and he actually placed into the very highest level, which would be more like a 12th grader. And it shocked me because he is probably my least academic kid. He has a lot of other gifts and talents, but he's not really my academic kid. And it just really proved to me that some kids are just natural spellers, and then there's some kids that just aren't. And I really do feel like he is a natural speller, and these 5,000 words that are covered in Spelling Power are the commonly misspelled words, and he actually knew a lot of them just naturally. And so we started freshman year with the very highest level. And that really gave him a confidence boost. Also with my youngest son, so like I mentioned, he was 7 during last school year, but he's very advanced in his reading, and he is my academic brainy kind of kid. And so I thought, you know what, let's just try it. And he placed actually up into more like a 4th grade level of spelling, but I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to push him or rush him. So we just went back to the very first level, and we did that very first level, and it was really easy for him, but it built his confidence, and he thought it was fun. And it was one of his most requested subjects. Before doing Spelling Power, he would say, I'm not a very good speller. And I say, well, you read really well, so I'm pretty sure you could learn how to spell these words because you do read really well. And it proved to him, oh, I'm not that bad. But there is a whole lot in the beginning of Spelling Power that are steps that you can do with your kids. It's like, assure your children that this is a quality program, and tell them this and explain to them this, and be sure to show them this. I didn't do any of that actually with my kids. I kind of just didn't want to make a big deal out of it. I just said, hey, you know what? Let's go to the whiteboard. Both of my kids, my high schooler and my elementary schooler, did this spelling program at the whiteboard. They have sample charts, they have sample lists, they have ones that you can buy, but I just kept it really simple. And we would always test on the whiteboard. And then at the end of the week, when we were ready for them to write their words, like for their final test, I should say their pre-test was on the whiteboard. But at the end, then we went to paper and pen, and it was no big deal. But I didn't really want to use up a bunch of paper, and I didn't want to make photocopies and go through all of that. So I just kept it simple by going on the whiteboard. And that was really actually something that both of the boys enjoyed. So I would say if you have boys that really struggle with sitting down and writing a lot, try the whiteboard, because sometimes it's a good alternative. So anyways, they give you word lists, and I will try to show a close-up here of one of the word lists, and there's they call them groups, so you can see that. And then there's a review that's naturally built in here every so often, but they would have you to orally give the words, you as the teacher, and then the child to write them. They don't give you samples of sentences. So they suggest that you orally share the spelling words as they are correctly used in a sentence, but you would have to come up with your own sentences. That was no big deal for me. I don't struggle with spelling, so that's fine. But if you struggle, you may want to have a program that already has sentence ideas in there. I know like Bob Jones, they already have sentence ideas for you if you don't want to think them up. And it was funny, as my 7-year-old got to the end of the year, he actually made it like a challenge to write out on the board the entire sentence that I was saying, not just the word. He's like, oh, I'm just gonna write this whole sentence. And it was funny, and we would laugh if he got things wrong or if he actually got it right, and he was proud of himself. So that was just a little game that he came up with. He was gonna try and write the whole sentence that I said. So it was kind of like a form of dictation, even though he didn't realize it. But anyways, I felt like it was really thorough, it was really quick, and I really do like this. It is recommended in my father's world starting either at the 2nd or 3rd grade program, but like I said, my son was 7 and we did start it. Now, something I could say is you actually, if you don't want to choose one or the other, Spelling Wisdom or Spelling Power, you could use them side by side simultaneously. So I can share a little bit about that at the end. But now I'm going to jump on to Spelling Wisdom by Simply Charlotte Mason. This is book 1. This is recommended for grades 3 through 5. I had book 2, but it's in ebook format, so that'd be a little bit hard for me to share with you on a video. But I do have that. I do like that this particular program is available in ebook or print, because then I could just print out multiple copies for multiple children. That was when my older kids were doing the programs together. I would print out a copy for each of them. Now my oldest has graduated, so this wouldn't work. My other two are too far apart. There's too big of an age gap to do that. But if your kids are close together and you want to print out, you could do that with an ebook. This is advertised as a more pleasant way to do spelling. This is for the kids who are like allergic to spelling lists. If spelling lists intimidate your child and doing like the traditional tests intimidate your child, then this is an awesome alternative. There are 6,000 words in this program, and actually if you use all the different levels and all the different volumes, they claim that there's 12,500 words altogether. So those are the 12,500 most commonly misspelled words. So like I said, this one is 5,000 words. So this one, you can see you can really get a lot more words in if you follow it and if you continue going level by level all throughout the years. So this uses prepared dictation. If that sounds like something totally foreign to you, that is where they have already prepared something for you to orally dictate to your child, and your child will practice copying that or transcribing that to learn their spelling. Charlotte Mason, she promoted the methods of copy work and dictation to learn spelling. At one point in time, I did take a year out and we did Queen Homeschool. It's called Spell Through Copy Work, and I did not feel that it was very effective. I felt like just copy work alone wasn't quite cutting it. There really needed to be more involved. And so I think this is good because there's spelling, copy work, and dictation together. But it is passages from scripture, from famous literature, from old quotes, and you will look at them, and then your child will, with you, determine what words they don't know how to spell. So I'm going to show, this is exercise 51, Pray Be Precise, from the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. You can see it's pretty small, and you would read this aloud. And if you like, I let my older kids, they would highlight the words that they did not know how to spell. I would say, okay, can you identify any words that you just right off the bat you don't know how to spell? Now, this is something that you have to take into consideration if your child's going to be honest and admit to ones that they don't know how to spell. My kids always admitted which ones they didn't know how to spell, but if you have a child that maybe is trying to get through work quickly and doesn't want to admit what they don't know how to spell, you might have to prompt them a little bit more, or you might have to, I can't think of the word. You might have to actually encourage them to share that they need some help with these spelling words. But you're gonna look at them, you highlight what they don't know, and then that becomes what they study. And so there's different methods for studying in spelling wisdom. It's encouraged to have the child close their eyes, try to imagine it, and try to orally spell it. You could definitely use the whiteboard. You can have them practice copying it throughout the week. But any way that really works for your family, study that word throughout the week. Until then, the goal is at the end of the week that you can orally dictate this passage slowly and surely, and then your child can write it down word for word until it's complete and correct with the correct punctuation and the correct spelling. So book one starts out with much smaller passages. By the time you're getting into the later books, it's a long amount for a high schooler to transcribe, and it's meant to really challenge them. And I would say it really does go above and beyond just a basic level of high school knowledge like what you would see in the public schools. It's advanced, and you're copying a lot and you're really listening. But it's good skills for the kids to have. You think if you're sitting in church and you're taking notes, if they're going to college and they're going to be listening to lectures from their professors, it's a good habit to start working on so they're able to learn how to take notes. There were times that we read the entire passage and my children knew how to spell everything. And so we said, okay, that's great. Let's move on to the next one. This curriculum is only meant to be done like once, twice, maybe 3 times a week at max. One book is supposed to last multiple grade levels. So you don't have to rush. If you want to sit on one passage for the whole week, that's totally fine. Let me go to the end. You can see, like, as we're nearing the end of book 1, this is a poem by Alfred Lloyd Tennyson called The Owl. And so they are copying now multiple areas. And I always spoke slowly, but not broken. So if I was going to dictate this sentence to my children, I would say, when cats run home, and I'd pause and let them copy that. And light is come. And then I would pause because there's a comma there. So I would pause again. And dew is cold upon the ground, comma, that I would pause there. So I didn't stop and let them have every word. I was trying to train their ears to listen. So they really needed to listen and think to the entire little section. If I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words. So they really needed to listen to all 6 words, and I would give them one chance. I would repeat it once. So if they maybe didn't quite hear me specifically, or they thought maybe I'm not totally sure if I heard you the first time, I say I'll repeat this one time, and then that's all. And I'm practicing or training them to tune their ear to listen, because that is something I think all moms know, that we want to train our children to have as a habit as adults, that they're able to listen when someone is talking, and they're not just thinking about what the next thing is or what they want to say. They need to be actually listening well when someone is talking and waiting and pausing. Okay, now I'm ready. And so I did not check it line by line. They had their copy, I had my copy, and I would check it at the very end. So I wasn't like standing over them or like hovering while they were doing this. I just would let them do it and check it at the end. So if you want to get started in developing like listening, dictation, transcribing skills, this is just an awesome thing. You can even supplement. But if you want this to be your core, it's going to cover a lot of words, and it's going to use the Bible and really good literature. And this program talks about, there's an intro on the front. It talks about you don't want to show kids how words are poorly written. You want them to copy from correctly written passages. So a lot of public school curriculum or secular curriculum I've seen, you're going to find editing practice where they will purposely misspell a bunch of words and the kids go through and maybe underline it and try to figure out how to spell it correctly. They will scramble up the words and say, okay, unscramble your spelling words. This philosophy from the Charlotte Mason philosophy says, show them how it's correctly done the first time. Don't confuse them and don't waste their time with twaddle. Just show them how you would like something to be written properly and have them practice doing that well. And so it's kind of a method of don't waste the kids' time. Let's just do the quality, not the quantity. And some poems, I don't know if you've ever noticed, if you read poetry, there's kind of funky punctuation. Sometimes there's funky spellings of things. Simply Charlotte Mason has gone through and edited that to make sure that they have already edited those and changed anything that would be confusing to young kids. So you don't have to worry about that when you're looking at the poems or when you're looking at the scriptures. They've already edited that. So I hope this was helpful for you to be able to see. I love both of these programs for different reasons, and they can fit you in different seasons, or they can be used together, but they're both something that you can use elementary school through high school. So if you have any questions, please leave them down below. I would love to be able to chat with you, and be sure to hit that subscribe button. Okay, have a great day.